Hello everyone, good morning. Today we are diving into one of the most scoring yet tricky parts of English paper, that is sentence completion. Okay. Everybody might have seen this portion in the exam, also known as closed test, right? This is a section where your vocabulary, grammar, and your comprehension skills will be tested all together. Okay. And you will be given a passage with blanks, and your task is to choose the option most suitable option or word for each blank from the given options. And these aren't random words. Each one is carefully selected to test your understanding for tone, what kind of tone the passage is using, what is the context of the passage, okay? And what are the grammar rules, all your grammar rules, all your articles, your noun, your pronoun, and also your logic. Clear? So, let me make one thing very clear. This isn't just about vocabulary. Okay, it's also about knowing which word fits the tone of the passage. Again, tone of the passage is very necessary. What grammatical structure is required in the sentence? Okay, your grammar, whatever you have learned till now in your school, in your college, everywhere. How do words behave when used together? Okay, in collocations, how do they behave? So in exams like CDS, FCAT, your NDA, even in your UPSC other exams, this section almost carries your 10 to 20 marks. 20 marks. And the type of questions asked in this sections are always there. And if you know the right technique, you can score full marks here with a minimum time spent. Okay. So here in this video, we will see what kind of questions will be coming. We will do one passage. I will also tell you the tips and tricks to attempt such questions, and step-by-step approach we'll be using in this video. We will also learn the ways to avoid errors, okay, and to eliminate errors. So moving on to the next one. So basically, these are the tips and tricks for doing the sentence completion passages that comes in your exam. So the first tick, tip that you require for this is that read the entire passage. Why read the entire passage? See the tone of the passage. Okay. See the structure of the passage. Okay. See what the theme the passage holds. Okay. And get a sense of all these things. Understand the context, because context will help you predict what kind of noun or adjective, okay, or verb you need to use here. And one more thing, treat the passage like a story, that you're reading a story and now you have to fit in the words. Understand the missing lines before filling them. Okay. Now coming on to the next one, understand the grammar context. Okay. Look for the clues in this. Does it need a noun? Does a blank needs a adjective? Does it need a verb? Okay. Does it need an adverb? What does a blank need in a grammatical context? Clear? Eliminate the wrong options first. Okay, try eliminating the wrong options. Comma will not be coming here. Okay, this is typing error. Please ignore. Next is use vocabulary knowledge smartly. Okay, it does not mean that you will start just mugging up the words. Okay, don't mug up the words. And for this, eliminate the wrong options. How do you eliminate the wrong options? First of all, be clear this. Okay. So when we are talking about eliminating the wrong options, first see what obvious option that is wrong. Okay, that always stands out. Okay, by some options you can definitely find out that this is not the correct option. Then eliminate grammatically incorrect option. Okay. Then eliminate illogical options. Okay. Then eliminate irrelevant to context. Okay. This is how you eliminate the wrong options. Okay. And once you start, as I already told you, keep reading newspapers, keep reading, develop a habit of reading, you will always be able to frame a good structure for a sentence. Okay, use your vocabulary knowledge very smartly. Okay, again, this is a typing error. Knowledge smartly, develop a vocabulary for synonym. Okay, that we have done in the class. Develop antonyms, develop your contextual usage. Okay, you can also make a register for your vocab. Okay, vocabulary register. Okay, then check collocations. This will be checking collocations. Many answers depend on phrases that commonly occur together. Okay, which makes it very easy to find out the options. For example, attributed to. Okay, for example, consisted of. Okay, so these are collocations. Round the corner, attribute to someone, consist of parts. Hmm. And one and the most important trick that you can use is always read aloud silently in your brain. Try reading out the words. Mark keywords before blank. Okay, when confused, try read the sentence in your mind again and again. This will always help you hear the word that sounds right in this context. Okay, try to develop linguistic intuitions. Okay, okay, my writing here is not helping. Linguistic intuition. Okay, so by reading only you'll be able to find out this word doesn't sound correct to me, right? So now let us see one passage and try to find out how can we do it. So this passage is from one of the previous year question papers that I have taken here. Now the first thing that you will do is read the passage silently in your brain. Okay, so let me start here. The Panchatantra is a compilation of interwoven series of tales in prose and poetry, mostly animal fables. So this passage is related to Panchatantra. It compiled in Sanskrit, sampled in Sanskrit, labeled in Sanskrit. Okay, as you can see here, the word compilation is already used. So it compiled in Sanskrit. The correct answer will be compiled. Okay. In Pali Buddhist, the compilation, again I told you collocation of words, right? Yahan pe it is already two. The compilation tributed to? No. The compilation treated to? No. The compilation attributed to? Correct. Collocation. Some words are used together. Okay. Tributed is incorrect form, not used in standard English. Okay. Treated means handled or dealt with, which is not suitable here. Okay. To Pandit Vishnu Sharma is considered by most soldiers. I don't think that is a related word here. Okay. Scholars, we can think about it. Let us see the third option. Sources. Sources can like date something, but they don't need consider it here, right? They don't need to be considered. So the suitable option will be scholars, considered by most scholars to be dated around third century, or found third century. Okay. So the first option I see here is round third century. Round means appropriately. Okay. Which is commonly used when referring to a time period in your history. Around is basically a little less formal. Awkward in this sentence, that is grammatical, linguistic intuition. Okay, grammatically doesn't sound right. And found is totally grammatically incorrect here in this context. Clear? Now, through cross-border mutations, adaptation, and translations, the Panchatantra remains the more popular, most popular, and host. Host तो यहाँ पे बिल्कुल ही गलत दिख रहा है. Okay? Most popular, can we use most? Most is basically incomplete here. Remains the more popular work. Okay, now see again. What I did here is more popular is comparative degree. Okay, but we do not have anything here to compare. So we will go with most popular. The Panchatantra remains the most popular work of, again, this needs common sense. Is it a work of dictation? I don't think so. Is it a work of creatures? I don't think so, but it is a work of literature, right? Especially between, upon, or among. Now see, between we use the word when we are talking about two things. Okay? Upon is a preposition, but the position of upon is not correct here. We cannot use it for comparison. Okay? But if I talk about among, especially among storytellers, among is referred to being in a company of or surrounded by, used when we are comparing within a group. And group here is storyteller. Clear? We covered this when we were doing prepositions, right? So next, the tales of this, is it gracious? Panchatantra, is it gracious? I don't think so. Is it relevant? Doesn't make sense here, right? Tales of this, ancient Indian work. It is absolutely an ancient Indian work. Okay. The original text, messages, branch. Again, I can see text fits better here because the idea of written material now lost. Okay, text. Message, too narrow in the meaning, right? Branch, unrelated to this context. We cannot even think about this option. So again, read this again. Tales of this ancient Indian work, the original text of which is now long lost. Poetry, the origins of the subcontinent, subcontinents. Okay, now see the difference of all the S's. Okay, subcontinents is plural, missing an apostrophe, so it means it is plural subcontinent. Subcontinents, apostrophe S. This is technically okay, but inconsistent styling with the passage. Okay, subcontinents. Okay, hyphenated. This is hyphenated. Okay, so we do not use hyphenated mostly in our sentences. So this is the option which is with the hyphen, donating the possessive form, okay, showing the ownership of the subcontinent's language and primitive. Talking about the language of the subcontinent, okay, so we have to use the possessive form here, which is apostrophe S. Again, read it again, okay? Text of which is now long lost, portray the origin of the subcontinent's language and primitive. Lifestyle, freestyle, profile. Again, see, both the other options have no logic here. Freestyle, mm-mm, unrelated. Profile doesn't fit meaningfully here. So the one option that is left here is lifestyle. Lifestyle fits with the next phrase apart from their objective. Their objective. Okay. Why their objective? Because uh, it is a pronoun, is a possessive pronoun. Okay, there is used for plural sense. Theirs is incorrect in this structure. Okay, apart from their objective, or you can also write its objective. Okay, both can be correct here. Okay, but again, linguistic intuition, if you read more it again and again, poetry, the origin of the subcontinent's language and primitive lifestyle apart from its objective. Okay, so we will go here with its. Why? Because Panchatantra does not have any gender. With a non-living thing, we use its most of the time. Okay, according to its own narrator, narration, or narrative. Okay, let me clear the screen again. Okay, if I talk about narrator, someone who tells the story. Okay, narration is the act itself, right? It is the act, not a person. Narrative is the story itself and not a person. So here, read it again according to its own narrator to illustrate the primary Hindu. Okay, so the correct option will be narrator. To illustrate the primary Hindu, again the option comes here. Principle, P-L-E. Okay, principle is a singular form. Okay, no S is written here, but principles needed here. We need something with S, plural. Principal is the school का head of an institute. वो वाला principal है ये. Okay, so read it again. To illustrate the primary Hindu principles of Niti, the wise, well, and won. Again, C. Use the method of elimination. Wise is conduct of life. Well is an adverb, not suitable here. One is means pale, which is also irrelevant here. Again, principles of Niti, the wise conduct of life. So this will be the correct option. The Panchatantra consisted, consisting, consists. Okay. So consist is the present tense. Okay. Present tense, wrong for historical reference. Consisting is the progressive form. Okay. Progressive form is not suitable here. Panchatantra, something happened in the past. We'll use consisted. So this will be the correct option. Read it again. The Panchatantra consisted of 5 parts apart from the brief, brief, and briefly. Again, see how to eliminate. Brief, wrong spelling, misspelled. Briefly is an adverb. Okay. A brief introductory narrative. Brief modifies the introductory narrative, so the correct option is brief. Okay. Now you see how simple it is to do sentence completion. Okay. We will be doing many more passages like this here in the class, in our videos. So this is a wrap up for our session on sentence completion for today. This topic may seem simple on the surface, but it is designed to test your overall command of the English language. Okay. And remember, this section is not about how fancy your vocabulary is. It's about how well you understand the context of tone, grammar, rules, and logical flow of the passage. Okay, it is just a test of not your knowledge, but also your presence of mind and quick reasoning. Okay, so let me leave you here with some of the takeaways. The first is read the entire passage. Again, right? Read the entire passage. Focus on grammar structure, tone, and context. Eliminate the incorrect options logically. Okay, make a habit of noting down confusing words, pairs like we saw here, principle, principles, right? Confusing words, clear? And most importantly, practice consistently. Okay, keep solving on passage a day, revise common collocations and prepositions. And we will meet in the next video where we will be doing more such passages and more of such more topics.